One of the best resources a couple might have access to when planning their wedding is a Bridal Expo. This is essentially a big event space filled with dozens of vendors from pretty much every category you could imagine. What's great about these events is that it gives you the opportunity to essentially go down the shopping list and check off each vendor you need in a matter of hours. You also get a chance to talk with these vendors face to face and sample what they can bring to the table. In some cases, quite literally. But there are a couple downsides to be aware of when signing up for one of these expos. The first of which being that most of them actually charge a fee to get in. I've seen this range anywhere from $50 to upwards of $300, depending on the size and popularity of the expo. It's also possible to find some that don't charge at all, and instead rely on vendors paying more to participate. If you do decide on an expo that does charge, however, I recommend buying your ticket online in advance. These are normally large, crowded events, and those lines can get really long. You may also need to RSVP ahead of time for any special shows happening at that expo, so be sure to do that as well. Once you get into the event, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. There's a lot of commotion, people moving from booth to booth, DJs playing music, people getting makeovers, and tons of giveaways. To some, this sounds like a lot of fun, but to others, this could be a total turnoff. As an alternative option, some places actually do virtual expos, where you can log in remotely from your computer and chat with vendors that way. There may be fewer tasty treats with this method, but at least you get to do it with no pants on. Regardless of whichever event you decide to attend, there are a few tips that you want to keep in mind, so here is my list of top 10 tips for bridal expos. Tip number 1 is to set a budget. Just like you do with any other shopping experience, having a set budget to work within will keep you on track for planning everything else. If you've watched one of our previous videos on creating a wedding budget, then you should have an idea of how that should already be mapped out. The closer you stay on budget, the more flexibility you'll have with other obstacles down the line. With that being said, however, we believe that the best places for you to be spending the majority of your budget are with your vendors. Like we mentioned previously, having a solid team of reliable vendors can make or break your big day. Tip number 2 is to create a game plan. In other words, expect the unexpected, because these events are filled full of distractingly awesome vendors who are really good at selling what they do. And do you really need 14 different wedding vendors for your wedding? Probably not. My advice is to keep it small. If you overwhelm yourself with a bunch of conversations with people you're not even interested in booking, you'll end up burning yourself out a lot quicker than if you were to just focus on the few that you know you want. So try to narrow down which vendors you absolutely plan on having on your big day and stick to only going to those tables to start. Ask yourself which of the vendors are your biggest priority and focus on researching those first. Pick just 2 or 3 of these categories to start. Once you get the big ones out of the way, then you can always wander back through and check out the other options. This will help you avoid any distractions that might get between you and your mission. Tip number 3 is to keep an open mind. You know how I just told you not to overwhelm yourself with a bunch of different options? Well, there's also a good chance that you're going to stumble across someone or something that you really want. Just keep an open mind as you do your shopping. If you've already crossed off all the important vendors on your list, then it doesn't hurt to spend a little time doing some fantasy shopping. You may actually find something that is really important to you that you otherwise would have never originally thought about. Tip number 4 is to create a wedding email address. I actually recommend having this one be one of the first things you do when starting to plan your wedding. The reason for this being that when you attend events like this, you're going to be networking with a ton of people and leaving your contact information. If you give out your personal email address, you are going to get absolutely hammered with spam emails for years to come. So by creating a designated email address for anything having to do with your wedding, you can automatically separate all of those emails from your personal ones. And when the wedding's over, just delete that email address. It will save you a lot of irritation. Tip number 5 is to create contact labels. As you go around to each of the different vendor booths, anyone who you're interested in setting up a one-on-one meeting with will have a little contact sheet where you can plug in your information for a follow-up call. This can get annoying really quickly. But if you just actually print out a sheet of some contact label stickers, you can just peel off one for each of the vendors you visit and put it on their sheet. This will help you streamline your efforts and allow you to cover more ground. We've even made a template for this to make it even easier for you, so you can find the link to that right below this video. Tip number 6 is to stay organized. Much like on the wedding day, the whole experience is gonna fly by and all those details are gonna get overlooked. So be sure to take that trusty planner with you and create a checklist to help you stay organized. I also recommend taking pictures of each vendor booth you visit so you have a point of reference to look back on if you need a backup plan or happen to lose those business cards. Tip number 7 is to manage your expectations. There are going to be a lot of giveaways and prizes at these events, but there's also going to be a lot of other people there to win those. While it's entirely possible for you to win, don't bank on it. One in every few might get lucky, but if you happen to find someone who you really like and don't want to miss out on, book them before they're no longer an option. Tip number 8 is to know your vendors. You should also manage your expectations when it comes to finding the best of the best. While many expos have fantastic vendors at great prices, they typically sit within one of two categories. Vendors who are growing their business and still need to advertise to get more bookings, ergo booking an expo, and vendors who are well organized and likely a multi-person operation. This means you have a less personalized experience if you decide to go with a larger organization. Rarely will you find one of the best at these events because they have no need for further promotion. They already book 2 years in advance and can't handle any more inquiries, let alone bother to pay for more by purchasing a booth at an expo. Tip number 9 is to do your research. Like we mentioned before, you're gonna see a variety of vendors at these events. Some great, some not so great. That's where you need to do your research. I recommend not booking someone on flashy first looks, but instead hopping online and finding out what you can about them. Do they have examples of their work? Reviews from previous couples? Do your homework and pick the person who you feel is the best fit. And one more thing. More experience does not mean a better vendor. Some of the worst people I've worked with in the industry are the ones who all say, I've been doing this for 20 years. They are the most stubborn and rarely evolve in their craft. I would much rather work with somebody who is newer but has a collaborative and passionate attitude. And finally, tip number 10 is don't wait to reach out. If you know you want someone, book them. A lot of vendors have a limited window of open dates on their calendar and tend to book based on first come, first serve. So if you find someone who you think is absolutely perfect, chances are that the other 200 people they met that day also think they're perfect. So if you can, try to book any of those vendors in the following days or following hours if you can. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 tips for bridal expos. Be sure to check the resources link listed down below this video where we've attached 2 things. We've got a vendor question master checklist, which is going to help you with asking the right questions as you reach out to each of these vendors. The other item is going to be the contact info sticker template, so you can save time and not have to constantly rewrite your contact info for each booth. If you have any questions about the material covered in this video, please feel free to post those right in the private Facebook group. If your question's more personal, you can always shoot us an email at support@wedeverything.com. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching, you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget that you can subscribe to our channel right here, and we will see you in the next video.